So welcome back guys, you are watching Rising Codesera, and in this video we are going to see how we are able to print pyramid pattern in Java. So before moving ahead, if you are new to this channel, please get subscribed. So until now we have just seen the square pattern, then we have seen the right angle triangle, then we have seen inverted right angle triangle, and in this video we are going to see pyramid pattern in Java. So let's get started guys. If you see guys, this is just like a triangle. Okay, so like this triangle. Okay, so it's like a triangle, and if you see there are some spaces as well. Okay, in front of each star there are spaces. So let me first calculate how many spaces are there on each line. I will just give here SP, that means spaces. So if you see here, there are totally 3 spaces, so you will say 3. Okay, so similarly I will have, now if you see on the line number 2 there are 2 spaces, so I'm going to write here spaces 2. Then on line number 5 there are 1 spaces, there is a 1 space, and on line number 6 there is no space, so we will give it 0. Now if you see on line number 1 there is 3 spaces, then on line number 2 there are 2 spaces, then 1, and then 0. Okay, so first target to do is we are going to print the spaces inside the loop. So if you see guys how many rows are there inside this pattern, so it will be 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and maximum stars at the end you can just see it is going to be 4. So here the n value is going to be 4. We will say for integer I equal to 1 and I is going to be less than or it should be equal to n. Less than it should be n because we are starting I as 0 index, so I will just replace with 0 index and n, and we will say I plus plus. We need to mention that what is the value of n, so we will say int n is equal to 4. So here first step is completed. How many rows are there? So there are totally 4 rows and maximum stars are 4. So we are going to start from 0 and we are going to reach up to I should be less than n and I plus plus. So what will happen? These rows are going to be printed. If I'm going to log here, so we can say system.out.println, and if I'm just going to say here a star, and if I'm going to run this, so you will be able to see there are totally 4 stars. Now the next thing is we need to print these spaces. So if you see n minus I, so it will be 4 minus 0, which is going to be 4, and we want minus 1. So if I'm going to make it minus 1, it will be 3. So it will be 3. So it will be 4 minus 0 minus 1, so you will get 3. Similarly here if you see n minus I, so it will be 4 minus 1, which is going to be 3, but we want 2 spaces. If I'm going to make it minus 1, so you will get 2 spaces. Similarly, if you see, it will be 4 minus 2, which is going to be 2, but we want 1 space. So if I'm going to make it minus 1, then it is going to be 1 space over here. Similarly, if you see here 4 minus, I'm going to make it 3, and minus 1, it will be 0. So all these things can be done by n minus I minus 1 formula. So we are going to use this formula guys. So here I'm just going to first print these spaces. So the first target is 2. The second target is to print spaces. So I'm going to say for integer. So here we are going to start from 1. So we will say integer j is equal to 1, and we'll say j should be less than or it should be equal to, we can say, okay, equal to, and we will have here formula inside parenthesis. So we are going to say n minus I minus 1. Okay, and we will say j plus plus. Okay, so this is the thing which we are going to do, and here we are going to print the space. So I'm going to say system.out.print not on the NL, we need to print on the same line, and here we will have a semicolon at the end. If for right now I am printing the star, so we will be clear that how many spaces are being printed. Okay, for this, now here we will start j from 0, and j should be less than, because we are starting from 0 index n minus I minus 1, and after this we will say here system dot out dot println to move on the next line after completing this. So if I'm going to run this, you guys are able to see that it is able to print the spaces. For right now we have not printed the spaces. Instead of spaces we have printed the stars over there. So it's 3 stars on the first line, you can just see, then 2 spaces, that means 2 stars on the second line, and 1 space, that means 1 star on the next line. So these are the spaces. We are going to replace it with spaces right now, and then the next thing is going to be printing the stars. So For right now we are not going to do it here, we are not going to move to the next line. So right now the third step is going to be print the stars. Now if you see on the first line how many stars are going to be there, so on first line there is first star, on second line 2, 3 and then 4. If our I was starting from 1, then it will be equal to stars, but our I is starting from 0. So if I'm going to say I plus 1, so it will be 0 plus 1, you will get 1. So here I'm going to say I plus 1, then it will be 0 plus 1. If I'm going to say I plus 1, so here it will be 1 plus 1, which is going to be 2, and you will be able to print 2 stars over it. 2 plus 1, then you will get 3 stars, which we want to print on this line. Here if you see 3 plus 1, which we want 4 stars to be print, so it will be 3 plus 1. For loop, we are going to say int, you can take the j variable again, or you can take any other variable over here. So at least we are starting from the 1 star, so I'm going to say 1, and j should be less than, and it should be equal to, we need to use an equal to symbol, and we are going to say we need to use here equal to, and in this bracket I'm going to say I plus 1, and then we are going to update the j, so increment the j semicolon, and we will say j plus plus. Now here we need to print the star, we are going to say system.out.print, and here I'm going to print the star over here, and this semicolon at the end, and to move on next line we are going to say system.out.println, and then this semicolon. Now after executing this, let's see what is the output. Here we need a space from this side, and if I'm going to run this, you will be able to see the pyramid over here. Okay, so on the, you can just see the spaces as well. If I'm going to just highlight it over here, you will be able to see the spaces as well. Okay, on the first line 3, then on second line there are 2 spaces at the starting point, and here again 1. So this is all about the pyramid pattern. If I'm going to increase this size, let's make it 10th, so it will dynamically update to that as well, and you will be able to see the 10 by 10 stars as well. Okay, at the line of this end it should be 10. You are able to see 3 plus 3 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, fine. Similarly you can see the rows as well, so there will be 10 rows over here. So this is the code for pyramid pattern, guys, and you can just update here the value. Let's make it 3, so it is able to print for any number. This is all about the pyramid pattern, and also we are going to see, guys, different patterns in Java. So if you are new to the channel, please get subscribed and share this video with your friends. Thank you guys for watching this video.